by Indra, the demigod in charge of rain and king of heaven. In order to stop such activities by his devotees, Lord Krishna wanted to firmly establish exclusive devotional service during his presence in Vrindavan. Because he is the omniscient personality of Godhead, Krishna knew that the cowherd men were preparing for the Indra sacrifice. But as a matter of etiquette, he went to his father Nanda Maharaj to inquire about it.
My dear father, what is this arrangement going on for a great sacrifice? For whom is it meant? Father, why are you silent?
My dear Krishna, this sacrifice is more or less traditional. Rain is due to the mercy of King Indra. We are therefore arranging to pacify him, because he sends rain for successful agricultural activities.
It is not necessary to perform the Indra sacrifice, because this cosmic manifestation is going on under the influence of the three modes of nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. The cloud is created by the action of the mode of passion. Therefore, it is the mode of passion which creates rainfall. What has Indra got to do with this? The Vrajvasi specific relationship is with Vrindavan forest and Govardhan hill. Therefore, we have nothing to do with Indra.
Krishna, if we do not show our gratitude to Indra for the rain he has sent, it will not look very good.
Even if you please Indra, what can he do? Please prepare sacrifice for Govardhan hill and the cows instead.
I will prepare a sacrifice for Govardhan hill later. For now, let me finish this Indra sacrifice.
Please do not delay. It will take much time. Take all the paraphernalia from the Indra Yagna for Govardhan Puja instead.
Very well. How would you like the sacrifice to be carried out?
Prepare different foodstuffs, such as sabji and sweets. Invite the learned Brahmins to chant Vedic hymns and decorate their cows and bulls. This will very much satisfy me.
Following Lord Krishna's instructions, the inhabitants of Vrindavan performed Govardhan Puja as follows. They performed worship of Govardhan hill. Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men called in learned Brahmins to recite Vedic hymns and offer prasadam. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, along with their cows, began to circumambulate the hill.
Jai Jai Giri Govardhan, 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 Jai Giri Govardhan.
Performing the Govardhan Puja sacrifice, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan returned to their respective homes.
I am Indra, the king of heaven and lord of rain. I feel very satisfied due to my opulence and great position. There is no one who can match me in fame, strength, power and beauty.
Narayan, Narayan, Narayan.
O best of the sages, Narada Muni, I offer you my respects. What brings you here?
My dear Indra, you look very pleased. What is the matter?
Yes, I am very pleased. There is no one who can match my opulences. Knowing of my power and my opulence, the inhabitants of Vrindavan will perform a sacrifice in my honor.
Oh, but didn't you know? They have already performed a sacrifice called Govardhan Puja, so they've cancelled yours because of Krishna.
Narad Muni further informed Indra that, precipitated by Krishna's disparaging remarks about him, the Vrajvasis had been influenced to replace the Indra sacrifice with the Govardhan Puja festival. Smilingly, having delivered this information, Narad Muni left.
Narayan, Narayan, Narayan.
Publicly humiliated in the assembly of heaven, his face marred by dejection, Indra fumed and thought,
How could they simply cancel my sacrifice? Just see the impudence of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. They are simply inhabitants of the forest, but being infatuated with their friend Krishna, who is nothing but a mere human being, they have dared to defy the demigods.
Indra's lips trembled in anger as he began to formulate a wicked plan to destroy Vrindavan, its residents and cows. He called for the clouds of universal destruction, headed by Samvartika, to appear.
O my faithful servant, O powerful cloud, able to destroy the 14 planetary systems. If you are truly loyal to me, then hear what I have to say and act accordingly. The cowherd men of Vrindavan, headed by their king Nanda, have stopped worshipping me at the instigation of a little boy called Krishna, whom they have accepted as their only shelter and support. Overtaken by false pride, they have abandoned worship of me in worshipping a mere mountain called Govardhan. I therefore order you to let loose incessant rains upon Vrindavan and destroy its cows, and in this way the brief reign of talkative, arrogant Krishna will come to an end, and the world and the heavens will realize the futility of taking shelter of him, an ordinary human child.
Indra burned with rage, ignited by his frustrated pride, by his plan to persecute the innocent, and by his offenses to the Supreme Lord. He stood upon his throne and shouted,
Mischievous cowherds! You have listened to the false words of a talkative child. You foolishly ignored my worship and brought ruin upon your own heads. Let us see how this Krishna gives you shelter now.
His eyes red with fury, Indra stared expectantly at the terrible clouds of destruction standing before him in their personified forms. Their leader Samvartika said,
As always, we will carry out your order without fail.
The clouds of destruction made their way towards Vrindavan, committed to their task and vainly thinking that they would be able to punish the Vrajvasis who were securely protected by Krishna. Gradually from the north, towering black clouds charged across the sky, accompanied by thunder, lightning and rain. Those dangerous clouds converged on Vraj from all directions. The atmosphere became horrifyingly dark. Winds tore at mountains and trees, and the earth became waterlogged. The cows shivered from the cold, and thunder reverberated like a continuous avalanche. The terrified Vrajvasis appealed to Krishna for protection.
King Krishna, please protect us!
Such adversity made Nanda Maharaj despondent. He began to pray to King Indra by reciting Indra's other names. Krishna became upset by this continued mood of dependence upon the demigods. Krishna exclaimed,
Father, are we such cows that we must pray to this Indra, whom I can pulverize to dust in a moment? Put aside your fear and watch my pastimes unfold as I crush this paltry insect and obtain me his pride.
The Brajvasis were incredulous when they heard Krishna's challenge, but despite their skepticism and the painful onslaught of hail and wind, Krishna's smiling face made them forget their misery. Externally, Krishna remained calm, but internally, he was furious at Indra's arrogant behavior.
This tempest is Indra's revenge upon us for having stopped a sacrifice which is rightfully meant to please me, because he has become proud of his opulence. Instead of thinking himself as my servant, Indra falsely thinks himself to be the Lord of the universe. I will destroy his ignorance and false prestige which has risen from his power. I will protect my family, my home, and the tiny land of Raj. O residents of Raj, let's take shelter at the Govardhan hill. It will certainly save us from Indra's fury.
The Brajvasis went to Govardhan hill without taking the time to tighten his belt, as was his habit before confronting a challenge. Krishna offered Govardhan his respects and gently began picking up the hill, holding it in his left hand. To annoy Indra further, Krishna shifted the mountain's weight to his little finger. His form was bent in a threefold pose. Left arm upraised, he began to call the Brajvasis to take shelter of Govardhan. He told them not to be afraid, for he said that Govardhan would not fall from his hand. The Brajvasis began to enter under the hill.
Just see the foolishness of King Indra, supposedly the well-wisher of all, who shows anger towards Krishna simply due to his envy of this innocent little boy. What a scandal! The demigods must be hanging their heads in shame. Indra is so ungrateful, for we have worshipped him for untold generations. But he tries to destroy our community. He even dares to threaten our sacred bulls and cows.
Krishna's hand on Govardhan made Govardhan immune to Indra's weather missiles. Therefore, he was not feeling inconvenienced in the least. Rather, he felt great pleasure being held aloft on Krishna's finger. Indra was shocked to hear from his scouts that his greatest efforts had not displaced even a single leaf of Raj. So the next day he redoubled his efforts. Again and again for 7 days, Indra continued to attack Raj, but each day he received the same report, that Braj remained untouched and that the rain and lightning had only just managed to ornament the peak of Govardhan hill, just as pearls and jewels ornament a golden umbrella. Blinded by anger, Indra could not recognize the futility of his actions, and rather than admit Sri Giri Govardhan had defined the limit of his power, cruel-hearted Indra continued to demand that his reluctant servants inflict their worst upon the Brajvasis. Meanwhile, Mother Yashoda was requesting Krishna to eat, for he had not eaten for days.
Oh, Damodar, you have not eaten for days. Please eat this tambula I have prepared for you.
Krishna took a moment to smile at his mother, but carried on playing his flute. Distressed, Mother Yashoda appealed to Subal to feed Krishna the tambula. Subal pushed Krishna's flute from his mouth and put that tambula into Krishna's mouth. Krishna's lips turned ruby red and his cheeks puffed out from chewing the tambula, and Mother Yashoda smiled happily. Finally, having witnessed Krishna's mystic power and the endurance of Sri Govardhan, Indra became remorseful and stopped the storms. Seeing this, Krishna instructed the Vrindavan residents to take all their possessions and leave for their homes. All the cowherd residents loaded all their possessions onto bullock carts, and then Krishna replaced Govardhan hill as it was before. When everything was done, the gopis offered him yogurt, which was mixed with their tears. The Vrindavan residents offered him blessings, and the demigods showered flowers on the surface of the earth. The Lord, surrounded by his friends, family, and animals, returned home. Without understanding the intricacies of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and without knowing his uncommon spiritual opulences, the innocent cowherd boys and men of Vrindavan began to discuss the wonderful activities of Krishna, which surpass all the activities of all men.
Nanda Maharaj, Krishna lifted up Govardhan hill without any difficulty. He is no ordinary person.
When Gargamuni came to perform Krishna's name-giving ceremony, he declared that this boy would be most auspicious for my family. He also said that this boy would grow to be exactly like Lord Narayan himself in all aspects.
We are fortunate to have Krishna's association. May he continue to stay with us in Vrindavan.
When Krishna saved the inhabitants of Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra by lifting Govardhan hill, a Surabhi cow from Goloka Vrindavan, as well as King Indra from the heavenly planets, appeared before him.
O Lord, Indra is ashamed and overwhelmed with grief because he has committed many offences to you and your scared land of Raja. Please allow him to beg your pardon.
Indra was conscious of his offense before Krishna. Therefore, he appeared before him in a secluded place. He immediately fell down at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Indra knew about the exalted position of Krishna because Krishna is the master of Indra. But Indra could not believe that Krishna would come and live in Vrindavan among the cowherd men. When Krishna defied the authority of Indra, Indra became angry because he thought he was all in all within this universe and that no one was as powerful as he. But after this incident, he became conscious of his subordinate position and began to offer prayers.
Dear Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I know all too well the strength of your illusory potency. Please do not bewilder me further by posing as an ordinary person. You are situated in pure goodness. Therefore, because you are above the modes of nature, you can never be at fault. Rather, I have exposed my many faults much to my misfortune. O Lord, I thought that in the name of a Govardhan sacrifice, you were trying to take away my shares of profit, and so I mistook your position. I am such a fool. I do not know whether I can be purified by punishment. Please purify me by your mercy, so that my pride may never rear its head again. Obeisances to you, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead.
From your prayers, I can see that you are a devotee and that the clouds of destruction must have acted independently. You should punish them accordingly.
Krishna wanted the demigod to do more than a tender general apology. He wanted Indra to describe his offences in detail so that he could fully understand the seriousness of what he had done.
Dear Lord, the clouds of destruction are neither to be blamed nor punished, for it was I and I alone that ordered them to destroy your Vrindavan.
But Indra, how is it possible for you, my devotee, to attack me and my associates?
I became angry when my worship was stopped.
But I'm your master, and have every right to stop a sacrifice of which I'm the beneficiary, and you're merely the medium. I don't know how this has happened.
My lord, a person blinded by false pride is capable of doing anything.
But Indra, although pride may sometimes arise my devotees, they curb it with intelligence.
My lord, I should have used good intelligence to free myself from the influence of pride, but hysterical anger covered my intelligence, so I succumbed. Oh Lord, please be kind to me. I disturbed your grudge and you revealed my fault. Dear Lord, please free me from those impurities that force me to degrade myself.
Indra, a man intoxicated by his power and opulence, is blind, for he cannot see me standing nearby with the rod of punishment in my hand. Desiring his actual welfare, I deprive him of his opulences. You should always remember that all your material opulences are due to my mercy. No living entity can independently become opulent. One must be favoured by my mercy. Everyone should always remember that I am the Supreme Lord. I can show anyone my favour, and I can chastise anyone, because no one is superior to me.
My dear Lord, you are the most powerful of all mystic yogis, because you are the soul of the complete universe, and from you alone, all this cosmic manifestation has taken place. Indra tried his best to kill my descended cows, but you protected them so well. We don't know anyone else as supreme or anyone else as our shelter. You appeared just to diminish the amount of impure activities on earth. You are known as Govinda, the protector of cows, and Giridhari, lifter of Govardhan Hill. And so we wish to coronate you as the protector of cows.
Then the Surabhi cow bathed Krishna with her milk, and Indra bathed him with the celestial Ganges water. And all the residents from the heavenly planets showered flowers from the sky. And so we celebrate Krishna's pastime of lifting Govardhan Hill as Govardhan Puja.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare